of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Bowdry?
Here.
Councilwoman DeShane? Here. Councilman Hoyt?
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Here.
Supervisor Lincoln?
Here. Okay, welcome to our November workshop meeting. The first thing I'd like to do tonight is I've asked Kyle Harbinger, who's been doing computer work for the town, to address with us some issues that need to be taken care of.
So yeah, a couple of them are more important than others. I think the first thing that we discussed getting done was backup on all of the computers. So the service that I use is Carbonite. It's online backup. They have a couple different. They have like a home user version and a business version. Business version, basic starting point is 250 gigs of storage for unlimited computers, and that's $288 a year. If it goes over 250, it's $100 per 100 gigabytes. So they sell them in blocks of 100 gigs, above and beyond the 250. So I doubt that it would, for you guys, without actually knowing exactly how much, I don't think it would go any more than the extra 100 gigs. So how many computers? I forgot how many computers we talked about.
What did we say, 7?
7 or 8, something like that. Okay, all right. So standard is typically somewhere between 40 and 50. That's just an average among businesses and things like that. But I don't think, like even with Vicky's, I don't think there's that much. Maybe even half that. I don't remember how much there was on there when we transferred over. But that's one of the big things, because if with no backups in place other than each person possibly doing something back up to a flash drive, there's nothing really secure as far as the backups go, stored off site at least. So, and then the next thing was antivirus. What I do is use Malwarebytes, and it's an endpoint protection, so it's a business type of antivirus. It's $6.50 per month per computer, or if you pay for a year, it's $70 per year per computer. So you save a few bucks if you do the annual. And then the next thing would be tying into that, if wanted to do, would be remote monitoring and management, which is basically it's a small lightweight program that gets installed on each computer. It's set up so I receive emails if there's an issue with anything, whether it's missing updates, if there's like a hardware issue that triggers an alert. So a lot of the times, if there's a problem with the computer, I'll know before the person using it does. So it allows you, especially with updates, security updates like Microsoft updates and things like that, if it's something that is not presenting on the computer as something's missing, I get the email and I can either take care of pushing those updates out, or I can let the person who's using that computer know they need to check for updates and get them installed. I've been using this. It's from Action 1 is the name of the RMM software company that I use. Been using them for about 5 or 6 months, and it's already saved a couple of people's computers, from a hard drive failure, because I got the alert before they even knew there was an issue. Kind of backtracking to the Malwarebytes, I've gotten a few a few notices that there was a prevention of them, malware, not attack, but like a malicious file or something like that. The other advantage with Malwarebytes is you have a 72-hour window to roll back any ransomware attacks. So they will take care of, they do a snapshot of the computer, and that allows you to roll back the computer before the ransomware attack took place. So that way it's basically, There's no hemming and hawing about having to pay a ransom or anything like that. You just basically roll back the computer, make sure the virus and ransomware files are off of it, and go forward. So those are the three things I think that we discussed. Was there anything else that you wanted to add in there?
I have a computer question. What is a ransom?
It's basically, it's a virus, but what it does is it will, when it infects the computer, it will encrypt all the files one by one, just going through the hard drive. And then you actually have to get a decryption key from whoever installed the ransomware. Usually nowadays it's all Bitcoin, so it's, you know, half a Bitcoin or what, depending on what the price of Bitcoin is for that day. Sometimes it can be tens of thousands of dollars depending on the data. The other downside with that kind of virus infection is it can spread over the network from one computer to another. So once it gets done with the first computer, it looks on the network for other drives that it can travel to. And, you know, depending on how the computers in the network are set up, may or may not affect other computers, so.
But it could theoretically affect all 8 computers that we have.
Yes, theoretically, yes,
So
but
there's, 7
unlikely
or 8.
because they'd all have to be on at the time, you know, and that's not something here, I don't think that happens very often.
So we have 7 or 8 computers that you're working?
I've only worked on 3 so far. 2 for her, 1 for Wendy.
Vicky has a laptop, a computer, and then a computer for the licenses.
That one's
Ambulance has got a
the same.
computer too, if I'm not mistaken.
I got a laptop and a desktop.
Okay.
Amanda's got her desktop, or her laptop. Wendy's got hers, then you got Erica's laptop, you got your computer, and then we have the laptop in the conference room, so that's 7.
And then you got Craig, or,
Craig and Helen's got 2, so that's 9, and then we got 2 or 3 here in the court, cause you have a laptop and 2 desktops.
2.
So
Yeah, but
we're looking
I'm
at,
not 100% sure, and I can talk to Becky to double check on that, unless you know the ins and outs with the court systems. I know a lot of times that's like all done by the court systems, nobody else does anything with it.
I think you're
And
right
I
on
can
that.
I have looked at the computer just to give her some ideas on it, in my experience, that's usually what the towns do, is that's all unified court
Does
stuff.
Jared have a computer?
Yeah.
All right.
So, now we're back to 7, 8, 11 counting.
Yeah, so I mean,
11 counting
8 to
those.
10 to 11 or whatever, and any of this stuff can be added on, you know, as you go. So if you reduce a computer, it gets taken off. If you pay the yearly bill, it wouldn't, but that's just the way. That's not true, because I pay monthly on the licenses, so I could do like a prorate or something like that if a computer was taken off of that.
Would we deal directly through you for
Yeah,
everything?
yeah, all of this stuff, I do it right through me. What I do, like with the carbonite, I would be the main administrator, and then I can add in whoever, you know, if it's supervisor that needs to take care of that stuff, then I can add, I can add as many administrators as needed. So, and then you can set the levels of permissions, so they can view it only, or they can do anything on the account that I would be able to do.
On the backup storage, what was that price again?
$288 for 250 gigabytes per year, and that's accumulative from all the computers. So if you want an actual better guesstimate on the cost, I'd have to look at each computer to see what the total storage would be. But I think 250 to start with, and then if it goes up over 250 down the road, then they kind of prorate for the year, and they charge you, you know, $80 for 10 months or something like that, you know.
Would that affect, because the ambulances use our internet, would that, their computers go under that also, or?
Not unless you wanted to put them under.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, any computers you can add, eliminate, keep off, whatever, you know, you guys decide what computers you want, you know, involved in any of these three programs, and we can add and as we need to. So that's not an issue. Does that I'm assuming the ambulance, that falls under the town budget and everything else, as far as the total
Oh,
budget.
They're
are they?
separate.
Yeah, I was gonna say the computers for the ambulance company is separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So that would
So-
have to be a separate thing for just the ambulance squad.
They're allowed access to the internet system,
But
but they're a
that's-
separate entity.
Right, okay, alright, that makes sense, so, something to mention to them.
Is the remote monitoring $5 a computer per month, or what is the?
That is, the price, I'm sorry, I didn't give you the prices on that. So it's $20 per computer per month, if you do month to month. It's 18 per computer if you pay for a year, and then it's reduced if you wanted to go 2 years, 3 years, which probably you guys wouldn't be able to do with budgeting and so on, I would assume, so. And then if you do the remote monitoring, the Malwarebytes endpoint protection is discounted. I think I put it on here. It's discounted by 20%. So, a couple of bucks off, $1.50 off if you do the two. What I had suggested to Ingrid was, if you're gonna do anything, do the Carbonite, which is the backup, and the Malwarebytes, which is the endpoint protection. Security, that's first and foremost. The RMM is a bonus, excuse me, is a bonus if you want to put that into the budget or pay for it, because then you can have somebody monitoring the computers for any issues, going forward. Not a necessity. Can always do a break fix, if that's something, as you realize the problems, then things can be taken care of at that point, but remote monitoring is something that, it's a great advantage for businesses, especially if there's information, data that really, you wanna make sure the computer's up and running without having any downtime when it gets fixed, so. That's the big advantage with the RMN.
I think this qualifies for COVID money, we could use COVID money on it to get secured.
Yeah, and everything, as far as like the RMM, that's all, it's just, basically it's monitoring, there's no, it does have remote access built into the system, but it's not something that I can do without somebody on the other end of the computer knowing it, and obviously the computer has to be on at the time as well. So if there's any red flags about access to computers, that's just something that you should all be aware of, that there is a remote access capability. So I don't know if it can be turned off, I haven't looked into that yet, but I will check on that, so.
I think.
I think it sounds good, very thorough.
That was my thought.
What's the difference between going through you and going through, Malwarebytes or Carbonite directly?
Basically going through me with Malwarebytes, you're gonna get cheaper than going through them. Their yearly price, I think, is $84, $85 per computer. And I'm partnered with them, that's why I get the discount on those. The Carbonite, it's gonna be the same price. Again, with that, I'm partnered with them, but I get it at a discounted rate, that's where I make a couple of bucks on the subscriptions, so.
Getting a hold of you would be a lot easier than getting a hold of that.
More than likely.
And having one guy.
One person to deal with, yeah, and I think, and I haven't looked into this and tried it yet, but there's a way that you can add the Malwarebytes, I could add the Malwarebytes monitoring into the remote monitoring, so it's all one thing. Not anything you guys would have to be concerned with, but it's just one more thing, it makes it a lot easier if you got one place to go for, all the security.
Are you local here?
Yes, in Brunswick,
You're in
yep,
Brunswick?
right off of Route 7.
Very nice.
Good.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
We're we know what we need to know. Unless
Okay.
we have any other questions?
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, anything pops up, she's got a number, she can get a hold of me or give it to you and you can call
Okay.
me, so.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything is exceeding spending limits as far as procurement or what we need to put out to bid, so I think we can just go for it. You know, once we talk about it a little more, maybe at the next meeting, December meeting, get it in place. You know, he's already done work that's been
Yeah.
significant and reasonably priced and,
Yeah, I try to keep it as reasonable as
Right.
possible, I'm not out to make a big buck off of one sale, so.
Right.
And you've been doing this for a long time?
23 years.
23
Yeah,
years, wow.
so, a little while.
Each year it's a total different.
Yes,
You're
it
always learning
is,
something
yes, it
new.
is.
Yeah, nice. I appreciate your time.
yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Kyle, for coming
Thank
out
you.
the whole night.
Yeah.
For November, this is not cold.
No, that's right, you got that right. All that rain last night could have been snow.
Yes, it could have. Thank you, everybody.
All right, take care, Kyle,
Say
talk to you
thank
soon. Okay, what else do we have tonight?
I would like to know where all the computers are. Like,
I was thinking that
An
too,
inventory
but
of them?
yeah, they're probably all taken, I mean, the
where all
laptops
of
and
the
stuff, they might take
computers are
home.
that we're responsible for.
Pardon? What was that?
That would be helpful to me.
That's what I was trying to think, and then they counted up 11 of them.
That we're responsible for.
Right, exactly.
Where are they?
And the court ones, I'm not sure that we're responsible for.
I doubt we
Because
are.
I know
the
for a
ambulance
Court
and
is
the
a
court
whole,
totally,
totally different
And they have
entity
their
in
own
that.
security systems.
right.
There's a lot of personal things that gotta be hidden in, you know, people's records and things like that, so they keep everything a little bit different with that.
How many do you have? Two?
I have a laptop and a desktop.
Okay.
Amanda has a desk, or a laptop.
Craig and Helen each have a desktop.
There's a laptop in the conference room. that The town board uses.
Who uses that one?
Frank, basically. It's for the town board.
That's ours to use.
And I do have
It's
another
just-
laptop in my office that Kyle has to sort clean.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then that would probably be available for, you know, even just if you used it for Microsoft Office or something. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is.
Is this something we'd start like the first of the year type deal, or?
Yeah.
Anytime, just start it, whenever you want?
I gotta do all this myself.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, so I'm gonna tell you right now, the carbonite, do it. Definitely do the carbonite. The malware systems, that's kinda up to you guys. You can do that yourself if you want, or you can,
Yeah, if we go up to 9 devices, right now it's $38 a year if
Yeah.
we did it ourselves.
Right.
And that's on the website of
Right.
Bytes. I use
Right.
that for my,
He,
my business.
yeah, he didn't really strongly talk about that either, you know, really.
It's a very,
He said-
Mellow Bytes is a very good system. I know that, Samaritan Hospital and the different, hospitals use that on
Yeah.
theirs. That's where, I know an IT guy and he recommended that to me years ago. And I've
Okay.
never had an issue with my.
So what about the antivirus one?
well, that's what
That
he's
is-
talking
Oh,
about.
that is that one.
But the
Right.
remote
Oh, okay.
monitoring
I wrote
one,
it down.
when I
Okay.
said $5 per computer per month,
Okay,
that's what I pay.
How much?
all right. so
$5.
that one's
And what was his quote? What did he say?
$20.
Well, 70 per year, $6 or?
For what?
No, $650 was the per,
The
per,
malware.
yeah,
Okay.
per month, per computer. That will get reduced down closer to $5 with the discount if you, have him for remote monitoring. You're in the ballpark, but $20 is a bit more than I pay, and I don't have any special rate or anything.
Who do you go to?
Another company. I'm gonna send it to all you guys right now, and I'll send it to you too, Vicky.
Yes, cause I think it's something we should look into
Talk
another.
to, cause
Right.
the people I use, I have two different companies I've used, and, one is a bit cheaper than the other. So I'll send you the cheapest one, cause they've been okay by me. But they do $5 per unit per month
Okay.
for remote monitoring. But the nice thing is, then I can call them whenever there's an issue, and they fix it.
Right,
They will charge me more for the extra work fixing it, you know,
Okay.
but it doesn't happen that often. And it's
Is
usually
that like
something,
an hourly rate?
it's caused by
or-
me normally,
Yeah.
just to let you know,
Gotcha.
so.
Yeah,
But, now, even when they have to fix an issue, because it's his remote monitoring, they can often do it without having to come in at all.
right,
They're software people,
mm-hmm,
you know,
God bless them.
and I'm sure Kyle can do the same, I'm sure he can do the same.
Yeah, if we if
Yeah,
you
I'd like to
send
look
that,
at
I'd
what
like to
Phil's
look
got
at
at
that.
$5 a pop, even with.
Well, I'm gonna send you the
Right.
contact
Still
information for these people.
$55
Right,
a month,
exactly. No,
which I don't think is too excessive.
he's recommended, and, yeah.
I have not had an issue. I didn't have
Are
an
they
issue
kinda
with the.
local too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't have to travel forever to get here and
No,
come back?
no, within a half an hour.
Is Brian not doing IT anymore?
No, he still is,
Cause he's the one we're contracted with.
Right,
That's the only thing I worry
we're
about.
not
If we go with,
contracted, we're not contracted.
We're not contracted
They're all
with him.
per diem.
He's just the guy that we use, there's no contract, we can call whoever we want.
okay.
that's the only thing I worry about is, you know, Malwarebytes and Carbonite are big companies, very user friendly. I just worry about signing up with a person and now they're kinda locked in with us.
Oh, this guy doesn't lock me, I can
We'll look
end him
at what he's sending.
like
Right.
this, so I'm gonna send it out to all you. Oh, I almost sent it to your dad, I'm sorry.
I'm sure he'll call me.
He'll send it to you.
What the heck is this? Neat.
Okay, what else do we have tonight?
I was notified by Amanda that she will not continue on as my deputy town clerk after January first. I'm going to advertise the position. I do have a lady who is interested, but she has asked if she could come in and shadow me to just see if it's something she would actually be interested in. I checked it out with Phil, he says it's legal,
It's
she will not be
consensus.
paid for it, as long as you guys have no issue with her coming in to just shadow me a few times during December.
Well, she's not actually taking the
It's-
town
no.
clerk yet, but she wants your permission to just let the person shadow.
Sure.
She's not getting paid anything, she's not being given any kind of special codes or anything like
Right.
that.
No.
Right, she wouldn't have any access to anything, it
So
would
she
just
just
Right.
needs consensus
coming
from
in
the
to
board.
work.
And paying attention.
right, and seeing what it actually entails, the job actually entails. And along those lines, I'm gonna be advertising for that position. Are there any other positions that you guys need advertised for appointments for the beginning of the year?
We continue dog
That's
control.
just me.
That's,
Dog control,
I'd also continue with ethics at this point. We're so close to the end of the year.
huh?
I would continue with ethics as well, just because we're so close to the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't
oh
know,
yeah, you only got a week and a half or 2 weeks before.
What's the dog warden's pay anyway, what is that,
3,000.
3,000.
3,000?
Yeah.
And then you guys seen the contract for Columbia Green to continue our shelter services, you all have a copy of it. And if it's workable, we can approve it at this summer's meeting.
Yeah, we definitely wanna do that.
Did they upgrade the
Right.
cost much?
No, they kept it all the same?
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Took the raise with the clerk or whatever.
You gotta have to send it. Get up in the middle
Holiday or
You know,
sick or
yeah.
whatever, that's right.
and they're responsible for like roadkill and stuff.
Yeah, 'cause Jay was getting
No, we're not.
45.
No,
Not
because of
roadkill.
dog
No.
hit or anything, no?
No, you don't get.
Not for that stuff, no. And it really shouldn't be for any animal other than dogs, and if there's no cat, you know what I mean? 'Cause we got looked into some stuff with that farm.
Horses and all that.
Yeah, so.
Who's that go to, then go right to, directly to the Humane Society
Uh,
Sheriff's Department?
sheriff handles it, and it goes from there,
or?
large
They
animal.
allocate it out to whoever.
Right, and positions you wanna advertise for? Alright, what else tonight?
That's it, and then, is it okay for me to go ahead and run the ad so that we can try to get some letters in here? Do you want
Absolutely.
me to run another one for the ethics?
That they would have to do a resolution to spend money.
Okay,
Resolution or motion?
Motion, sorry.
we can do that once we go into special meeting.
We're already in session.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, anything else to discuss? Okay, Phil, for the purposes of getting, 55 and 56 passed tonight, I call a special meeting to order.
Once you call a special meeting to order, you may wanna just do that quick motion.
To
You
get
just
that
need a
in.
motion to approve the, town clerk to, advertise for the purposes.
Before we go out, okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the town clerk advertising for the position of deputy town clerk,
And was there other ones too?
Dog control and ethics board.
and also the dog control officer at $3,000 a year, and the ethics, which is a gratis position, one position on the ethics board. May I have a second?
I will second that.
Seconded by Councilwoman Shane.
That would be a roll call.
Councilman Baldry,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
and Supervisor Murphy.
Yes. Alright, if nothing else is workshop material, I'd like to make a motion to go
Well,
to a special
you-
meeting, or?
We're in special.
Well, you're already in your special
Right.
meeting.
No, how though? It was just a workshop.
Did you
You're-
open it as a workshop? I thought we opened it because we knew we had to vote.
Workshop is a special meeting, okay. That'll work, that's fine.
I
If we're there,
thought,
we're
I
good.
don't,
She marked it already down in the minutes as opening as a special meeting, right?
Right.
So you're covered,
Okay,
and now you would just simply do, if you want, those 4 resolutions. Is there more than 4?
no, it's two.
It's only two, cause we had the two for a special meeting,
No, we got
right?
2 for true to form, so we can.
Oh.
Just scheduling a public hearing for the seniors and the disabled low income
Okay.
for their assessment.
If that's 57 and 58.
So for those, you're just scheduling the public hearings.
Okay, can the public hearing be before our next meeting? Can we do it?
Yeah,
So we'll do it 6:30, Monday, the 12th of December?
That's,
6:30 and
Yeah.
7:12.
Yeah. Can you get them?
what time?
Our regular meeting's at 7, but if we did it
Yeah, if I
6:30.
come in tonight, that gives us 2 weeks,
6:45.
right?
How about 6:45 on the 12th, Monday the 12th, is that the right date?
6:45? Yes, the
Monday the
12th is
12th.
correct.
Yeah, we're all here.
We learned our
Doing
lesson.
bills and stuff, so.
I do it 6:30.
6:30?
No, we learned our lesson on doing 6:30. We end up with
Oh,
15
for
minutes
the
extra.
airtime,
Right.
dead air,
Mhm.
gotcha. Okay, so we're all good with the public hearing for the establishing income levels for real property exemptions will be 12/12 at 6:45 PM. Okay.
Which one do you wanna do first? The seniors or the disabled?
The seniors is the first one chronologically.
So that'll be local law number 3 now.
Yes.
Right, and I-
Yeah.
She's got it.
We got it, local law number 3, local law number
Yeah.
4.
oh, right, yeah.
And also the town clerk will advertise these, right? Public hearing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Alright, so we
that's
must-
it, that's in that resolution that I gave you a copy of.
Yes, yep,
so we wanna start with resolution 55?
yes, we do. Resolution number 55 of 2022, a resolution to approve proposed local law number 1 of 2022, amending and superseding Article 2, Section 5.3 of the Code of the Town of Grafton by changing the number of members of the Board of Assessment Review from 5 members to 3 members. Whereas the Town of Grafton is desirous of updating Article 2, Section 5.3 of the Town Code so as to change the number of members of the Board of Assessment Review from 5 members to 3 members. And whereas the town board has reviewed proposed local law number 1 of the year 2022, attached here to. And whereas such local law appears appropriate as to form and effect, and a public hearing so as to consider public comments on such proposed local law having been conducted, now therefore be it resolved The proposed local law number 1 of the year 2022 is hereby approved, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to file a certified copy of local law number 1 of 2022 with the office of the New York State Secretary of State. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 55 of 2022. I have a second. Seconded by Councilman Hoyt.
Councilman Baldry,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
and Supervisor Duncan.
Yes. Okay. And then we have resolution number 56 of 2022. A resolution to approve proposed local law number 2 of 2022, amending section 125 of the Code of the Town of Grafton, fire prevention and building construction. Whereas the Town of Grafton is desirous of updating section 125 of the Town Code so as to update the fire prevention and building construction requirements to match New York State standards. And whereas the Town Board has reviewed proposed local law number 2 of the year 2022 attached hereto. And whereas such local law appears appropriate as to form and effect, and a public hearing so as to consider public comments on such proposed local law having been conducted. Now therefore be it resolved that proposed local law number 2 of the year 2022 is hereby approved, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to file a certified copy of local law number 2 of 2022 with the office of the New York State Secretary of State. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 56. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Baldry.
Councilman Baldry,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
and Supervisor Duncan.
Yes. Okay. Resolution 57? Right?
Yeah.
A resolution to approve as to form proposed local law number 3 of 2022, establishing income levels for real property exemptions for senior citizens with limited income and scheduling a public hearing thereon. Excuse me. Whereas the town of Grafton is desirous of establishing income levels for real property tax exemptions for senior citizens with limited income. And whereas the town board has reviewed proposed local law number 3 of the year 2022 attached hereto. Whereas such local law appears appropriate as to form, and it appearing appropriate for a public hearing to be scheduled so as to consider public comments on such proposed local law. Now therefore be it resolved that proposed local law number 3 of the year 2022 is hereby approved as to form, and be it further resolved that a public hearing will be held at 6:45 p.m. on Monday, December 12th, 2022, at the Town Hall of the Town of Grafton, located at 2379 New York State Route 2, Grafton, New York 12082, so as to allow the Town Board to hear public comment on proposed local law number 3 of 2022, and be it further resolved that the Town Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to issue appropriate public notice of the public hearing scheduled herein. I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 57. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilwoman DeShane.
Councilman Baldry,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
and Supervisor Duncan.
Yes. Alright, resolution number 58 of 2022, a resolution to approve as to form proposed local law number 4 of 2022, establishing income levels for real property exemptions for persons with disabilities and limited income, and scheduling a public hearing thereon. Whereas the town of Grafton is desirous of establishing income levels for real property tax exemptions for persons with disabilities and limited income. And whereas the town board has reviewed proposed local law number 4 of the year 2022, attached hereto. And whereas such local law appears appropriate as to form, and it appearing appropriate for a public hearing to be scheduled, so as to consider public comments on such proposed local law. Now therefore be it resolved that proposed local law number 4 of the year 2022 is hereby approved as to form, and be it further resolved that a public hearing will be held at 6:45 p.m. on Monday, December 12th, 2022, at the Town Hall of the Town of Grafton, located at 2379 New York State Route 2, Grafton, New York 12082, so as to allow the Town Board to hear public comment on proposed local law number 4 of 2022. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to issue appropriate public notice of the public hearing scheduled herein. I would like to make a motion to pass resolution 58. May I have a second?
My turn, I'll second it.
Okay. Seconded by Councilman Lewandowski.
Councilman Baldry,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane.
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Alright. Anything else before we make the motion to adjourn? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the November workshop of the Town of Grafton Town Board. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, gang.
Alright, he's all set, whoever wants to call him, and let him know that if you get a call, the computer people.
Thank you. Good night, Mark. Have a good night.
Mark, you know Frank McCurry?